Stormy Daniels just got screwed again. Now she has to pay Donald Trump's legal fees, something like $300,000. We'll see if she does. She says she's not going to do that. Says here, I will go to jail before I pay a single penny of that money. So we're going to go through this story. Of course, Stormy Daniels, the former pornographer store. I don't know if she's still doing that work or whatever the story is, but it had a little thing going on with Trump there for a while, and a lot of back and forth about this. Remember, she hired Michael Avenatti, who is now a convicted felon, who is supposed to be, I think, the savior of America. Well, he kind of screwed things up for her. Not such a good lawyer, and she lost an appeal. Now she owes a big fat paycheck for her lawsuit against Donald Trump, brought by Michael Avenatti. Let's get some background details briefly here from CNBC. This says that Stormy Daniels is now on the hook to pay Donald Trump $300 grand in attorney's fees. She sued him for defamation, but didn't work out. Friday's ruling, Trump bragged about, issued a statement. We're going to read that. And Stormy Daniels responded to his statement. We'll see what's going on. The feud featured both of their former lawyers. She says, I will go to jail before I pay a single penny. And what happened was, apparently this was a technicality, according to Stormy Daniels. We'll read through her statement. All of this taking place out of the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, and there was no notice of appeal filed within a 30-day deadline. And deadlines matter in court, folks. It's not like your teacher's like, all right, you can turn it in tomorrow by 9. No, not how that works. No, you didn't file it. The rules are the rules. Sorry, try again next time. The appeals court also said that the same judge had properly included another $1,000 in sanctions against Daniels in the same judgment that awarded Trump attorney's fees. So it's kind of a big fat paycheck that now is going to be going towards Donald Trump, or at least ordered to go towards Donald Trump. A little bit more detail here. This amount Daniels owes to Trump is the same amount she was swindled out of by Avenatti, and we're going to get an update on him later. Donald Trump, of course, very excited about this. This is the statement that he released from the office of Donald Trump, March 21, 2022, says Trump wins the Stormy Daniels case. Says the Ninth Circuit just issued a final ruling in the Stephanie Clifford, aka Stormy Daniels, he didn't say horseface in there, frivolous lawsuit case against me brought by her disgraced lawyer, Michael Avenatti, upholding the lower court ruling. We'll take a look at that, saying that she owes me nearly $300 grand in attorney's fees and sanctions, and not including the appeals cost. He writes, as I have stated many times throughout the years, I never had an affair with Stormy Daniels, nor would I have ever wanted to. The ruling was a total and complete victory and vindication for and of me. The lawsuit was a purely political stunt that never should have been started or allowed to happen, and I am pleased that my lawyers were able to bring it to a successful conclusion after the court fully rejected her appeal. Now, all I have to do is wait for all the money that she owes me. PS's fake news probably won't report this story. The fake news probably won't report this story. So Trump doing a victory lap, now saying that he's won everything, totally vindicated on all the Stormy Daniels conversations. And he's just sitting there waiting for that big fat payday to come over from Stormy's, to have her just kind of haul that big sack of cash and just lop it right on Trump's desk down there at Mar-a-Lago. Is that going to happen? Stormy says no, says I will go to jail before I pay a penny. So she's not happy about it. You can see she posted this March 22nd, 2022. Yeah, $300,000. Nobody wants to pay that. It's a lot of money. Here's what she wrote on Twitter. She said, this is my statement. It's very big and long and poorly formatted, but let's read it. Here it says, in response to that ridiculous statement by Tiny, talking about Trump, and I think that's making a joke about his manhood, says this was not a criminal case or a ruling. I don't think Trump said it was. Says this was not about whether we slept together or not, which is, you know, we'll see. This was simply about if he could tweet rude and false things about me, right? It was a defamation lawsuit that was brought by Stormy, saying that Trump was being mean to her and can't say those things. And so that's why she sued him. Also, I never said it was, quote, an affair. My statement has not changed since I came forward and has been collaborated and verified by others since 2006. And so now they're kind of mincing words and arguing about affair, right? We saw that here in Trump's statement. He said here, I have never had an affair with Stormy Daniels, no, nor would I have ever wanted to, okay? So, and so you can see they're fighting over this word, affair. My statement has not changed since I came forward, verified by others. He cornered me. I was exiting a restroom and intimidated me into unprotected intercourse. Later, he had Michael Cohen pay me hush money. I guess maybe in his mind, this does equal an affair, since it seems to be Trump's pattern. Then we had the grab him by the whatever. Trump's lie about me was very much a lie. He intended to damage me. However, it was not something I ever wanted to sue over. I never wanted to go forward with this defamation suit because I was afraid of the prejudice associated with my career as an adult actress. It turns out I was correct. So guess what she's doing here? Blaming her lawyer. I can't pay for this. I didn't want to sue him in the first place. This whole thing was a bad idea. And my dumb lawyer, Avenatti, the felon, actually is the person who got me into this whole mess. Avenatti filed the lawsuit without my permission and against my wishes. Oh, which means, according to her, she can't possibly be liable for that $300,000 because it was Avenatti. Once it was filed, Trump's lawyers overwhelmed Avenatti, and I was left the victim of the attorney fee award. Avenatti appealed the ruling, but failed to timely file the appeal. Because he's a terrible excuse for an attorney. Well, that's not what she was saying earlier. The recent court decision ruling on January 11th was the last day for the timely appeal on that issue. I fired Avenatti February when I discovered he forged my name and embezzled my book funds. He was just convicted in federal court about that. I hired Clark Brewster. He took over my appeals. He informed me that Avenatti missed the appeal deadline, but also thought the judge's fee ruling was irregular. Brewster sought to appeal the attorney award based on that. Brewster litigated the appeal all the way up to the Supreme Court, where I believed that justice would be served. The attorney fee remained with the Ninth Circuit and was ruled adversely on failure to file a timely appeal. To be clear, Trump won, she writes, on a technicality due to Avenatti's failure to file. That technical ruling, although distressing, doesn't reflect anything. I had a negligent criminal lawyer. Still, it's a sad reality in this country that Trump has gotten away with this and he's going to be awarded money for his bad behavior. My heart goes out to others who've been victimized by the orange Cheeto. I deeply regret not standing up for myself that night. I hope that one day the woman who came after me can forgive me. Okay, so that's Stormy Daniels. I don't know anything. I'm just super innocent. I didn't have any part in any of this. It was all Avenatti's idea. Okay, so that is her statement. We can see that there. Now, speaking of Avenatti, what the heck's going on with this fella? You can see here that on February 4th, we know that he was convicted of stealing $300,000 from Stormy Daniels. And you think, wait a minute. Stormy Daniels owes Donald Trump $300,000. Michael Avenatti was convicted of stealing $300,000 from Stormy Daniels. Well, this is very easy. They just got to go get the money from Avenatti because he's now a convicted felon. He stole that money. Go get it. It's restitution owed to Stormy. And Stormy can just take that cash and just move it right over to Trump. So it's just like Avenatti is repaying Trump. Very convenient. The accounting is perfect. $300,000, just move it from one account to the other. Easy. Attorney turned criminal Avenatti was convicted Friday, back in February, of swiping nearly $300,000 in book advance money from Stormy. Perfect. Now convicted, 22 years in prison. That was the maximum. I don't think he's going to get that. Scheduled for sentencing in May. We'll see what it turns out to be. After the verdict, Avenatti made a statement that I'm very disappointed in the jury's verdict. Don't you know I'm supposed to save America? I can't save it if I'm in prison. Says his conviction marks another black eye. Rose to national fame during the Trump administration, was going to run for president, said that he was going to be the savior of the republic. Here, calculating thief took two payments of nearly $300,000 from Stormy. Her name's Stephanie Clifford. She said that he stole from me, he lied from me, said that he promised that he would never take a penny from me for the book, but she didn't receive her payments on time. Prosecutor said that there was a mountain of evidence against him, which of course is why he was convicted. He represented himself at the trial, and during the trial, he tried to ask Stormy about a number of statements that she had made about him being assaulted in prison. Avenatti said she's not credible. And this was a lot about the argument. Remember, this guy has just been all over the place, going after Nike for $25 million, trying to extort them. 2.5 years in prison for that prior case. And it just goes on and on. So we see now, this is the original ruling that came out for Stormy Daniels, against Stormy Daniels, in her case against Donald Trump. Remember, she was suing him for defamation. And we've got 14 pages here. I just want to show you this. If you want to read through it in more detail, of course, you can pause the video. But I want to show you the big chunks of this order. This is the order that is awarding Donald Trump the attorney's fees. Now, this is the order that was appealed, and we just had this denied. So basically, it's saying that, nope, there's nothing to contest on the appeal. You didn't appeal this timely. And so all of this that was originally ruled upon here is now valid. So we'll take a look at this order from the lower level district court. We'll also take a look at the order from the higher level district court, or the Court of Appeals, which of course is the Ninth Circuit. So here we can see proceedings in chambers, an order granting the defendant Trump's motion to dismiss and strike the complaint. Order denying as moot the alternative to dismiss the complaint. So what they're saying here is they're granting Trump's motion to dismiss the case. And there's going to be consequences of granting that. One of them might be attorney's fees. Here we see factual and procedural background. Stephanie Clifford, aka Stormy, sued Donald Trump back in the Southern District of New York. Here's where it all starts. After Trump was elected president back on November, we have Miss Clifford working with a sketch artist. Remember where they were drawing this diagram of somebody who apparently threatened her in the months leading up to the election. The next day after that sketch artist is publicly posted, Trump comes out on Twitter and he says, a sketch years later about a non-existent man, total con job, playing the fake news media for fools, but they know it. Trump posted this tweet in response showing side-by-side images. So based on that tweet alone, Clifford sued him. Defamation. She says Trump's tweet attacked the veracity of her account of the threatening incident. She contends that Trump is saying that she's basically a liar. Trump is calling her a liar. She wanted to sue him over that. She did. She goes on. She says Trump acted with actual malice, like he intended to harm her with actual malicious intent. And the complaint goes on and on. We see that the court goes through. They say they had oral arguments back in 2018. They go through their analysis, talk about the different law, talk about New York being applied, different motions to dismiss. And when we see that sort of a lot of the procedural hurdles are jumped over, that the defendant, here Trump, filed the motion timely, meaning that the judge will rule on it. They follow the standards under the TCPA, defendant's right to free speech. He can say stuff that he wants on Twitter. They discuss what is a false statement. They tell Stormy that your legal team fails to establish a prima facie case for defamation, meaning you don't even state a substantive claim. Like there's not enough here to even bring a claim of defamation. What are you talking about? Because it was a kind of sort of a non-consequential tweet. He didn't even mention Stormy Daniels in there. So this goes on, talking about a false statement. On this page, the court writes, Mr. Trump also made a one-off rhetorical comment, not a sustained attack on the veracity of Stormy's claims. This distinguishes this case from other cases. He just kind of made a comment about it. They say that Trump's tweet is non-actionable. The court's analysis of the special motion ends. So let's go over a couple different things they say. Different damages and leaves to amend. Then we get to Section E, attorney's fees. They finally hold that the defendant right here is entitled to attorney's fees. Texas law is ambiguous, but for the foregoing reason, a reasonable attorney's fee is appropriate. The court grants the motion and allows other people to file. Now, all of this, of course, got appealed, but it was late. Avenatti's kind of an idiot and failed to follow the proper rules in his filings in federal court, and the Court of Appeals wrote this. They say this on March 18th. Stephanie Clifford, aka Stormy Daniels versus Donald Trump. Stephanie Clifford appeals 2 district court orders, an order granting attorney's fees for Trump and a second order granting the motion to correct. First, the district court correctly held that fees, costs, and sanctions did not require a separate document. They do not trigger a separate document requirement, and therefore they were valid. Because the order was a final judgment, we have no jurisdiction over the appeal of that award. If you want to give us jurisdiction as the Court of Appeals, a notice of appeal must be filed within 30 days after the judgment. So that original judgment was okay. The district court order of $292,000 in attorney's fees plus $1,000 in sanctions was a final appealable order in accordance with the rules. And so that was fine. And if you didn't like it, you had 30 days to appeal it. But you didn't. Because Clifford did not file a notice of appeal as to the 2018 order until August 24, 2020, her appeal was untimely. So we affirm in part and we dismiss in part, meaning you have to pay those attorney's fees. So Stormy Daniels owes a big whopping $292,000 plus $1,000, so about $293,000, just shy of $300,000. And if she doesn't pay that, well, we'll see if Trump and his legal team starts asking for penalties and interest to accrue, as I'm sure they will. So she'll have to, I guess, go call Michael Avenatti and say, hey, where is my $300,000 that you stole from me? In all reality, right, that's part of his loss. He was convicted. And so as part of restitution, I'm sure most of those assets have already been seized. And so we'll see if she does actually have those funds, if they were returned to her as part of anything that was seized from Avenatti. If Avenatti spent it all, there may not be much there, or they may be in the process of liquidating his assets, who really knows. But Stormy, I'm sure, is owed some restitution, which means she's probably pretty flush. I'm sure she's got some extra cash lying around, but it's not hers anymore. It's Donald Trump's, according to the District Court and the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals. So Donald Trump is getting paid. Stormy Daniels screwed yet again. What do you think about this case? Let me know down in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe before you get out of here. I look forward to seeing you on the next one.